Last time on There Be Dragons.
What do I see?
You see 10 kobolds. The ones behind the ones around the rim are all armed to the teeth.
So I run, I leap, I do a half backflip, awesome guitar sting, and you hear this massive boom.
And the MVP for the day is Nezor.
They're all bleeding from every facial orifice. They've just had their minds blown. It's almost like it's designed for an instrument that can play 2 songs simultaneously.
Fortunately, we have a musical genius for this.
Every genuinely negative memory and experience you've ever had is now flooding your thoughts.
I don't want to be comforted.
Rhylind, I have found you always to be a very strong and capable person. Don't let this ballad get the better of you.
Hey, Nezor,
Yes.
are you upset? Stop being upset.
You shimmy down a length of rope and land in a campsite. And the first thing you notice is that the campsite itself looks like it was doused quickly. It's clearly some kind of medallion. And as you pull it out of the pack, your blood freezes. And you immediately recognize it as the symbol of the Silver Chalice, the Bashano's secret police.
Oh, shit!
If you're enough of a threat to the Bashano, they will dispatch them, and generally speaking, you disappear.
So, guys, I don't know if you have the equivalent in your countries. Do you have people that go further than the police?
Like spies?
Like,
disorganized militia that come and kill you?
no. They're quite organized.
Oh, like pirate hunters?
I'm going to assume so. Honestly,
So what I'm saying is sort of like military grade, counter whatever it is you're wanting to
Yes.
do on the nasty side of the law.
so this is them. And I'll show them the medallion. I know you need a rest. We can't rest here.
No, okay, sure. This is fine.
And I think we should put back everything we've touched and make sure the site is as undisturbed and like we found it as possible.
It actually looks somewhat disturbed, like pots and pans and stuff have been kicked over.
Yeah. I'm with you on this. I tell you what, I'll put back my pouch of 30 shillings. I'm keeping my grappling hooks. So.
You know, that's fair. They can write those off as incidental.
Yeah, I'll put back the money. I'll give you that one. Yeah, fair enough.
Good plan,
No,
good plan.
I'm liking how you're communicating very much with the body language as well. You're shit scared, yeah?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
We don't want to face these people.
Fair enough. So this could be a single agent leading a group of mercs. I'm still wanting to know what's going on here.
Oh, yeah, me too. I just don't want to get killed.
Good point. We won't get killed. We won't step into anything without... This is useful info. Thank you. Can I investigate for footprints? Like where...
Sure. Now that you look down, you notice that there are, to you, reads like large party of possibly armed people walked through this.
Uh-huh. In which way?
They're heading towards the tri-pointed pieces of metal with the chain.
The chain going down. Yeah. What's the other one? The other's the staircase, yeah? Where does it go? Can we see where it leads?
Sure. I'm going to say you walk up there a short way, and then when you turn the corner, you can see at the end of the corridor that this must link up to that previous passageway that you found in the crypt, because this side is also collapsed.
How irritating. Yeah, all right. Good.
May I posit a theory?
Yeah.
There are footprints through here of people walking through like they don't care, similar to how an automaton would work because it doesn't really give a shit about belongings.
Yeah.
You then have what seems to be not necessarily foreign, but definitely interested parties here. Either they were waiting for them and they've met up, or they were here for a separate reason and now they are moving to... The automatons were here to get these people.
So to give you some interesting context and possibly, how long ago was it that I did my primeval awareness?
It would have been probably, 20, 30 minutes ago?
Okay, so about half an hour ago, which I predict would be less time than this happened. I'm thinking this happened about 20 minutes ago, and I think before that, I stretched out my senses, you may remember, and I discerned one single person, possibly with other things, but I couldn't discern them, and a group of 5 further away that were not doing anything very much. I'm wondering, could I do the primeval awareness
Sure.
again?
Absolutely.
I might see if I can sense something now.
Smart.
Yeah.
I like it. Good plan.
I'll do that.
Okay, cool. With a finger to your lip, telling everyone to shush,
I need some focus, so yeah.
you kneel down and take in the space, and then you can hear very slightly, using your half-elvish hearing, you can detect very, very, very faint echoes coming from in the cave. There also appears to be a single large individual pacing backwards and forwards. Beyond that, you can sense another group of 5.
So we're catching up.
Yay.
But there is someone with them, as we already are sort of aware, and he is pacing. And there is the 5 who are here.
Whatever is potentially between them, they sound quieter than the other
Oh, yeah.
group.
Oh, yeah. So there may be a wall or a door or something between
Magical
the two of them.
barrier.
Magical barrier, something like that. But he is evading, or whoever this is evading, whereas the others are doing something. So it's just a sort of cumulative information. I'm thinking you may very well be right. It's these automatons of what disturbs this camp, and I believe initiated a movement from the others. How far down does this chain go? I'm going to look at and see how far the chain goes down.
That's about a 50-foot drop.
And what can I see anything at the bottom?
Yeah, actually, you can see it's a relatively well-lit room, but far more industrial looking. This looks more like a workshop of some kind. You kind of actually notice when you glance across at the rest of the space that the lake that's in the middle seems very circular. Actually, roll me an investigate check.
Okay.
Like
If
it's not natural.
How big is it? Like, it's not great.
Well, there's water above it, but like you can tell that that's sort of incidental. Like it used to be, like there is a point, maybe like 3 or 4 feet below that, where the water is now filling in. That is not natural.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
There's an 8. I am going to send Rosh down the chain to scout it out. Is that okay with everyone?
Yeah, go for it.
Rosh, my lad.
he looks at you quizzically.
The chain. Go down that one, yeah? And then when you come back up, little treat, yeah?
Oh, he's very into that.
Yeah. So I go to... Is there any chicken?
Oh, no, there's like jerky and
Meat
salted
and
pork.
jerky. Salted pork!
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get some salted pork for him. I might have a nibble as well.
They had like a lot of provisions.
Yeah.
They clearly intended to be here for some time.
Sure. Give him a little bit of jerky now.
Yeah.
And say, much more with the salted pork when you get back, yeah? Good boy.
With a chirp, he clambers down the chain. And when he re-emerges, an image floats into your head, and it's almost like the camera feed you'd get from like those
A spy drone or something.
well, like the SWAT team send under the floor, look around, and you can't really tell where things are, but it's definitely from his perspective. You see a dragonborn, a big dragonborn.
Oh.
This fella is easily taller than Charlie, and he's wearing a rather sodden-looking cloak. But underneath it appears to be wearing battle dress. And arrayed around him in sort of like a semicircle are these automatons you've seen. He's also carrying a massive, massive flail. He drags it along as he walks. He doesn't actually seem to care too much about it, and it looks like it's chipped in places from use.
To be clear, a flail is the spiked ball on a chain?
Yes, except in this...
3.
Oh, 3. Go. Okay.
Yeah, these look more like blocks of metal with
chunks.
more metal on them.
It's a metal. It sticks some metal on it.
Yeah, but it looks like this could like the blocks are probably up to his shin, like they're huge.
Right.
And he has the muscle to drag them around like he doesn't care.
Right.
Rosh looks up from that at what he's pacing in front of, and there is what looks like a vault door. It's made of the same metal that lock you found earlier is. It has that sort of oily, pearlescent sheen. The door itself is imposing. It's about 10 foot tall, circular. At the center of it is a small circular plate about the size of a hand that has a dragonborn handprint built into it. Around the exterior of the central plate is a ring inscribed with the same runic language that you saw on the door that Rosh opened with his fire breath earlier. Lastly, you can hear a whirring and clunking coming from inside the door. Rosh looks back towards the other side, and Its walls are slanted inwards towards the roof. You can see what looks like 8 octagon depressions in the ground. And then on the far wall behind all of this it's either a rampant dragon or some kind of serpentkin. And they're pointing towards something, and then there are those automaton shapes moving forward.
Cool. So we can't see the other ones.
Sorry?
See the other
No, there
five.
is some kind of barrier.
And they'd be behind that door.
Yeah.
Right. So found out who our one dude is.
Yeah?
He's not someone I would want to meet in a dark alley or even in a friendly lit bar, actually, to be honest. He has a dragonborn. What color?
I mean, you had a test.
He's red.
He's red.
You can hear the sound of something hitting metal, and then you hear frustrated roar.
So down the dragon. We all sort of assumed it was either a large kobold or a dragonborn. Not that they're in any way similar, but just from what we already knew about them.
Well said.
He had a tail and a cloak. That's all we knew. So we were thinking probably dragonborn because of the size of the person. He is a very large dragonborn. So Rhylind is a fairly statuesque person.
Thank you.
This guy would make Charlie look a little small. He's big, bigger than the automatons. Let's put it that way. He's got a flail. It's bigger than me. He's big, and I'm thinking the noise we just heard was him hitting the barrier that is separating him from the other 5 figures. I'm thinking a potential ambassador for us would be Rhylind.
I'm going to say it sounds like he's trying to stop something that he doesn't want to happen, but does that mean we don't want it to happen?
Yeah.
Or I'm
Gonna
kind
take
of
a chance on this one.
mind of seeing what's going on. Maybe we can help him.
Yeah.
Or
I'm
Should we talk to him, or does Ryland know him?
Do
or?
I know him?
It doesn't match any rumors that you've heard. Generally speaking, they've all been the same, which is roughly your height and maybe a different color.
No, I can't say I've heard of a giant red dragonborn with a flail, and I feel like that would have stuck in one's memory.
I have a small idea.
Does it involve me going down there?
9. It sort of does, but only preceded by a dragon. Little dragon.
Okay.
Hey, Karash, I've given him a piece of... He did good. This is good, so I give him some pork. I'm stashing all the jerky I can grab, and I'm giving the salted pork to you to put in your magical pockets of holding.
I can deal with that.
Just because it's so useful to have organic material to store things.
Tiny pockets.
And it's also salted, so it stays forever. And then I send him down, and I want him basically to go down and gets the guy's attention. Just adds a hold, just goes down and chirps or makes a noise or maybe brings a little bit of fire. As in,
We
as
want
much
to
as,
get his attention?
we're gonna get his attention as soon as we climb down the chain.
We're going to climb down the chain?
Potentially.
If he seems nice.
I'm entirely for that. I'm not entirely for sending Ryland down with
I'm not alone.
Winged stink.
Hey.
I reckon. Why do we need to go down? If we get his attention and we're at the top, he can't
I think
come
at
up
this
to
point
us.
you've got his attention. You have been speaking with raised voices at the top of this thing. You hear from the bottom and
Hello.
I'm going to go, hi there.
this fellow is looking up at you.
Who are you and how did you find this place?
Pretty much by accident, actually. Trying to figure out what the hell is going on in Orim.
Come and join me.
And he stomps away from the chain.
I'm going to say, do you promise not to smash us?
Of course not.
Oh,
I like him. He sounds fun. I'm going down.
Sure.
Could you promise not to smash us immediately?
No. I'm coming.
So,
Must be fine. I'm going to follow them, but I'm going to stay on the chain
right.
so that if anything happens, I'm just fucking
He's just
out
going
of
to
there.
smash you into the wall.
No, I'm just going to climb back up again and run away.
I climb down as well. Because I figure he's least likely to kill me.
Yeah.
He's standing there with his arms folded, holding the haft of the flail under his elbow, and just sort of regards each of you as you appear down the hole. And as you appear, Rhylind, he raises an eyebrow. It's the only visible change that he's actually...
I've been watching for it. I
Mate.
wanted to see how he reacted.
But that quickly disappears, like he goes back to his sort of blank facade. He looks over at you, Abella, when you refuse to fully come down from the chain and just sort of swinging in the breeze slightly.
Hello.
Like a dag. And hanging like a dag.
It's like I'm a bat. I just like hanging on things. This is completely usual for me.
It is. She hangs on stuff all the time.
See?
How about we start with a little bit of an introduction?
Sure.
Go on.
Can I metagame for a minute?
Yeah, like, who do we want to start with here?
How angry are you going to be if I tell him our names?
As soon as he asks for a name, Charlie goes, he will step forward and go, my name's Charlie Roughhouse, and extend a hand.
He regards the hand but doesn't reach out to grab it and just gives you a slight inclination of the head.
And he will sort of not go, he'll go,
Charlie Roughhouse, weren't you due for a bout with Thunderclap Jack?
Do I detect an accent?
No, he's actually got sort of his voice is too gruff.
Yeah.
Some brigands tried to kill Jacques, and a bunch of people were murdered, and we put the fight on hold.
Something to do with assassins.
How interesting.
I'm Skairn. This is Hrosh. And Hrosh is curled around his shoulder.
Nezor Valghoorlis, entertainer.
And the one swinging on the chain?
Oh, I'm Abella. Just don't mind me.
I won't.
Good.
And you?
And he looks over to you, Rhylind.
I was not aware that you had an interest here too.
I take it you're familiar with me?
Why have they sent you?
Metagame. What the fuck does one say to that?
Okay, so the play here is: do we pretend? Do we play along and be like, yes, they sent me because the things weren't progressing, blah blah, blah, or do we admit, what the fuck are you talking about? Explain yourself.
That's
Those are options.
entirely Karen's decision.
Yeah. It's just presenting those options.
Yeah, no, I'm just
are
presenting them,
Karen's options. You can either play this like get more information out of him by bluffing, or
Yeah, but if he finds out I'm bluffing, I'm fucking dead, guys.
I'm not dead. You might just suffer his disappointment.
Hey, we might be dead anyway.
Oh my god, I feel so much pressure. I feel like she would bluff. I think that's for me to know, isn't it?
He snorts and a gout of flame comes out of his nose. He seems to be satisfied at least with that and turns around and faces the door and goes,
If I were you, I would resist no further. My reinforcements have arrived.
Is Rhylind far from me?
sort
I'll
of
be
just,
standing reasonably near her.
yeah.
Get more information. Rhylind. Hey, Rhylind. Rhylind, get more information.
So what's taking so long?
With that, the figure snaps around and looks at you.
Do not talk to me as though you can dictate terms, halfling.
Not looking for dictating terms. I just want to make sure we're ready.
He punches the seal on the wall and leaves a little dent. Yeah, the seal's indented.
That's why I'm staying up here.
I cannot help but feel you seem to think I'm here to stop you.
I cannot help but feel that you believe you are in some kind of privileged position just because the council deigned to send you to assist me, Silver.
he's got a chip on his shoulder.
Okay. I'm trying to think how to word this. I don't want to make him angry, but I want to keep him talking.
I think he's pretty angry.
He's
but-
pissed off, but he hasn't struck you yet.
Okay.
Which means he's pissed off more with them than us. But also, he's too worried about the repercussions of killing you to kill you.
Okay.
Well, so far.
Okay. I wouldn't use a word so divisive as dictate.
Might I ask, the handprint, have you used that?
Of course, I've tried the handprint. It's broken from the inside.
Yes, no, I don't quite understand the technology, but I did realize there was...
I don't expect you to.
Oh, okay, of course. Well, let's all just stare at the door for a little longer instead of trying to figure a way through.
Keep your retinue in check, Silver.
It's enough, Charlie.
Yeah, Charlie. I say.
Well, since you pride yourself on your intellect and the company you keep, perhaps you would like to attempt to open the seal.
Certainly. Let's have a look at it then.
So he sort of makes a mocking bow and gets out of your way.
I approach the door and investigate. I rolled a 12.
Okay, it's broken.
I guess, do I recognize the runes on it at all? No,
They're all the same runes that you've seen throughout.
the same ones that were in the pedestal room?
Yeah.
Can I perform an Arcana check?
Sure.
Please? 10.
I'm going to say that's enough. In fact, I'm going to give you advantage on that one. Go ahead. Roll again, please.
16, 18.
Because you're not classically trained in magic or magic theory or anything of the sort, this is all a bit intuitive. So what you interpret or what you sort of naturally feel, given your innate aptitude, whatever it may be, to observe and absorb magic, is that there is a powerful flame and a frozen shard of ice inside this door, and they are both emitting energy that is at once melting the ice, and the ice is in turn extinguishing the flame. But this cycle just keeps happening, and it doesn't actually unify or achieve whatever its goal is. These magics are in opposition and are not working in concert, and that seems to be what is preventing the door from opening.
Yeah, I guess the question would be like, do you push it one way and hope it breaks or wins?
Because I can cool it down.
And he can heat it up. He's fire.
Maybe first, can we ask him? I was
What
flying
he's
away.
tried?
What
Right.
exactly happens? Maybe just something nice and general, like what exactly happened here, or what exactly went wrong, or
What did
something
we
like
miss?
All right, I take on a slightly schoolmistressy-esque tone and say, what exactly have you done to this door?
He gestures at the dents.
You punched it a couple of times.
Of course.
Right. It seems to be some sort of magical interference. There seems to be both heat and cold within this device. And it seems that one extreme will cause the door to open, but thus far I cannot discern whether heat or cold would be the way to go.
I may posit a theory that you really just need to unbalance it.
Well, the half-elf might be correct. Show me how it's done.
And he sort of just, again, makes a mocking gesture towards the door.
Okay.
Remembering that we also, Skairn said there was like cold and crunch and like ice down here.
So there's a lot of, it's unusually cold. The water was freezing at some points.
So has that changed now, or is this
We're
still
not
the
in
same?
water anymore. Is the air around us cold?
No, it's actually quite warm.
I feel like, given the warmth, it's a surprising warmth actually of the air around us, I would suggest cold would probably be the way to go.
Once again, readying my weapon.
Have I encountered anything like this before?
No, but there is something about this that just nags at you. It's like being in a familiar place that you've never visited, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I pull out a harpoon and also ready my warhammer, like put the warhammer on the ground next to me, ready to be picked up as soon as I throw the harpoon.
Sure.
I'm going to cool the door. Like, I don't want to put a layer of ice on the door. I want to cool the metal.
Okay, that's fine. Let's make it a dexterity check, and I'm going to give you advantage on that.
Okay.
And I also want to clarify, because you are doing that check and not using like full power, I'm going to say you retain your ice breath.
Okay, cool. I'm just doing it gent.
Yeah, you're
Yeah. Okay. 18
okay.
or 19.
Yeah, so you see like this icy breath just get sucked in around the circular depression that this button, I suppose, is sitting in. The mechanism starts to click and the door starts to unseal, and as it does, it splits directly down the middle and pulls open.
Beyond the door, you see a large empty room with tablets arrayed on several stone tables, along with a swathe of masonry tools. The room looks like an architect's office. However, it looks like it's been ransacked. There are a few items strewn along the floor, just pieces of masonry and tools. The Red Dragonborn gives a small grunt of approval and stomps inside with his automatons. And pointing ahead of him, he says,
Destroy all of this.
And they comply. They start tearing the place to pieces.
Is there anything else around here? Like, while he's not looking, is there anything else around that might be salvageable before they destroy it?
There are like these octagonal glasses on, not glasses as in like ones you put on, like glasses you drink from, sitting on a desk. Whatever fluids they might have held have long since evaporated. There is a collection of like what appear to be, they're the equivalent that you would probably use to etch into stone instead, like little chisels and things like that. Other than that, there's nothing else really.
The Dragonborn turns to you, satisfied with the level of destruction his automatons are wreaking on this room, and says,
I suppose I must thank you. But now the quarry awaits. Excuse me.
And he turns and starts storming off down the corridor by himself.
Yeah,
I follow exactly. I don't know about you lot, but I'm staying close to this one.
Yeah, I'm not leaving. I'm not sticking around with these things anyway. I want to help. I like this guy.
I reckon we follow.
I have mournfully looked up, sighed, let go of the chain, and followed everyone else.
As you run, you can actually hear voices up ahead. You hear someone shout, "They're through the barrier! Blocks the hole!" The Red Dragonborn is just running full pelt, dragging these blocks that are skittering along the stone, making as heavy a footfall as possible.
Charlie internally is just stopped. And
Internally and externally.
Like, as in, so I've stopped and gone,
So externally
this
too.
doesn't seem right. I don't think he's comfortable. Like, he would go, wait, no, we're on the wrong side here.
Hey, Charlie. Since we don't know who's on the right side, can we stay on our side of keeping everyone alive and keeping us all in the land of the living, and also just pretending we're her underlings?
Yeah.
Until we've got a clear, totally on the
We
same
can't
side.
pick a side until we know what side they're on. Just because they're Bashano doesn't mean they're for the Bash.
But I also, and this might seem a little selfish, but he's also a very iconic figure that,
Don't think the covered government agents care about that, but
yeah, but that's implying they all are, there's just a whole lot. Yeah, all right,
No,
we'll
fair
see
enough.
where
You're
it
quite
unfolds.
welcome,
He would stop and then see you guys and go, at this point, keeping these people safe.
Them at least a little bit.
But we'll see what happens.
yeah, fair enough.
And then catch up.
This hallway goes for a fair way, and as you're traveling down it, you start to see the figures crowding around the opening. There's about 4 of them.
They seem to be erecting some kind of barricade, trying to just desperately bar the door somehow, even though it's an open space. You hear one of them shout, "DuPont, you've killed us all!" As the Dragonborn just slams into the fortification, it explodes back. He knocks everyone back and immediately, with one hand, just arcs this flail over his head and crushes the skull of the closest person.
I am totally on his side now.
I run out behind him and yell, "Make sure to keep one alive."
I don't intend for any of them to leave here alive.
Well, not in the long term, no, but briefly it might be worth our while.
He snaps his head around and looks at you and goes back to swinging this flail as he walks towards the other 3 defenders, which are an elf and 2 humans. The person he crushed the head of was another elf. Now, do we want to roll initiative?
What can you describe?
Information do I have before I decide whether Charlie engages in combat?
This Dragonborn has slain someone straight up. He's advancing on the others. They've drawn weapons and they're backing away.
If they're trying to back away and not be murdered, then no, I am not attacking them.
Here's the problem. We sensed 5 of them before. There are 4 of them here. They said DuPont. Somewhere between where they were before and where they are now, Dupree's gone off somewhere.
He could have also legged it behind them. Because there's 3 ways out of the room.
Yeah, so no, fair point.
Okay, well, he's just advancing slowly on them, swinging this thing. He's kind of relishing the moment.
It's I think the council would be very annoyed if we squandered useful information for the sake of immediate violence.
There's always a need for immediate violence.
When you're a simpleton.
At that, he snaps his head around.
How can you let an underling speak to you like that? Or speak to me?
Kind of want to punch Charlie right now.
Feel free to.
I crossed to Charlie and cuff him around the side of the head on the ear.
Charlie, play it up.
Yeah, like, I do apologize, ma'am.
He seems mollified by the fact that you've disciplined him, and then turns back to the other three who are almost quaking in their boots with swords drawn.
Surrender! You might have a better chance that way.
Yes, surrender. Throw down your weapons. I promise your death will be swift.
There you go.
Any of you fancy a talk, or do you fancy a club to the head?
One of the humans drops his sword and just sort of and starts to back to the side, like away from his group. Like, I'm not with them. And the other two fix him with a look like, are you for fucking real? And then look back and they actually resolve a little bit more. So as they back away with their swords drawn, you actually notice that what they're stepping on appears to be a large tiled map that takes up the entirety of this floor. And it depicts places you've never seen before.
I gestured, I'm going to move into the room a little bit to one side, to the same side, and I was like, come here.
Yeah.
to the human. It's like, we'll talk to this one. You immediate violence those two.
Come, Silver. There's blood to be spilt.
Oh.
Yes, Silver, there's blood to be spilt. Go do it.
Oh, Silver, but you're one of our best interrogators. Do you want to maybe talk to this guy for us?
Enough talk.
I feel a bit morally conflicted about this, guys. The blood is yours to spill. And I turn my back and I grabbed the guy by the scruff of his neck that surrendered. Do you want to start talking, or am I going to change your mind?
Well, while you do that, you hear Red go,
Weakness.
and then turn from you and basically bring the flare up and down and just crushes both of them in one fell swoop. They attempt to block, but the sword doesn't work.
Guess who made some orphans?
You could have been on that. I kind of wanted to.
I was strongly considering attacking Red.
Yeah, because I'm like, I just don't want to provoke him because he's a lot bigger than me.
He has a name, but I'm going to go shorthand him Red until you guys actually bother to find out what that is. Okay?
All right, so I grab the guy by the scruff of his neck and says, don't make me change my mind. Please tell me he wets himself.
He's just, please don't let him kill me.
Also, I still have, no.
Well, you kind of didn't say you were bringing him with you.
Very specific. I did not say I put him down.
All right.
I also said I now have a kobold.
Okay. I probably shouldn't, but I will.
He's welcome to still be unconscious and under my arm.
Well,
Can he just be our pet from now on? Is that a thing?
Okay. So guy says, please don't let him kill me. I'm like, give me a good reason why I shouldn't.
I was just hired to do a job.
By who?
DuPont.
And what job was that?
Excavation.
Excavation for what?
I don't know. I'm a stonemason.
Oh, really? You don't know what you're looking for?
I don't know what this crazy place is. I didn't even know this was here.
Really? No, didn't know anything. That sounds very convenient. I give him a little shake.
I don't know what I can tell you. We came down here. They blew the door behind us.
Who did?
Who blew the door?
DuPont. He wanted to make sure that we weren't working interrupted. He said he had another way out. We almost lynched him over it, but he was very, very adamant that he would double our paycheck. And then we've spent the rest of the time here. We had plenty of provisions. We didn't see any issue with it. I mean, two of them, we resolved it amicably. It's just a shame that they then got food poisoning.
Food poisoning? How fucking stupid are you?
The pork was bad.
Yeah, it was.
Yes, terrible. Where were you digging?
Here. We were looking around the place. We tried a few different holes, and he looks over at the red dragon, who's just like looking at you now with a bit of a, what are you doing? Look on his face. He goes, we were digging here. He said that it was really important, and he had us try all these different shafts around the basin, and then, that's basically what I've been doing. I don't know what I can tell you. Please.
Can I non-lethal damage? I want to knock him out.
I'm going to say if you want to, you can whack him over the head with something.
Yeah.
And we'll do that. All right, so, I don't know, you javelin? Oh, sorry, harpoon. Sure. Yeah, so you knock him on the head.
The sound of one of those squeaky hammers.
I'm sorry. Sorry, my man.
So, Rhylind, Red's still fixing you with that funny look, as I'm assuming you drop the unconscious man who's been bopped over the head with a hammer.
Pathetic. We need to find DuPont and fast.
He's been a thorn in our side for too long.
I can find him.
How?
It'll take but a minute. Literally a minute.
Be quick about it.
Yes, ma'am. Primeval awareness.
Yeah. You can immediately sense footprints charging off further down the opening that's directly ahead of you.
Okay.
That makes more sense.
He's charging directly ahead of you down the hallway.
Any more info?
He's moving at speed?
No, I'm looking for people generally.
No, there's no one else here.
Okay, cool. Well, look, I don't know that it's him, but given that they dropped his name and he's the only one else down here, that way.
That way!
The Red Dragonborn takes the lead as you walk down the central hallway at your direction, Rhylind, and you all file in behind him as you enter this large room that is dominated by a massive 8-sided column of white stone that descends from the domed ceiling. Charlie and Skairn, because of your naval background, you immediately recognize that drawn on the roof is what appears to be a map of the stars. The constellations are all etched into the stone and have hundreds of small grooves that run along it, giving the appearance of an intricately stone-worked puzzle. The column itself tapers down to a point that lies situated over a small octagonal column that comes up to about hip height, situated in the center of a depression beneath the floor. Even at this distance, you can see that there is a small octagonal vial sitting on top of it with some kind of liquid inside. Where there aren't steps, there is a small wall that runs the perimeter of this depression, and on those walls at intervals you can see small dials, very reminiscent of the sort of door handles you get on marine vessels that look like they operate something.
Can I see DuPont?
Yes, he has basically run straight down. He's about 100 foot ahead of you, standing next to that pillar.
Still moving, or is he...
No, he's come to a stop and he's looking at this vial underneath it. And also, you notice that even from this distance, he doesn't have the same sort of physical appearance that he had around you. He doesn't have those buck teeth anymore. He seems far more... he doesn't look fucked up in the DNA, if that makes sense. And he's also wearing a combat sort of get-up. It's all red. And he has leathers on with 2 rapiers at his sides. Basically, he looks like he's tooled up for adventure, and he actually strikes a far more imposing figure than he had previously, where he was sort of this simpering, foppish fool. Now he looks supremely capable.
So the rat is cornered in his den. Are you happy, DuPont? Have you solved your riddle? Well, now I am your answer.
DuPont turns to face the large red dragonborn and goes, "You always were a bit of a prick, weren't you, Marduk?" He looks past Marduk and sees you 5 and kind of does a double take for a second and goes, "How the hell did you get here?"
Once again, you seem to have drastically underestimated our capabilities.
Got a bone to pick with you. Or you with.
Also, it's a long story.
Listen,
Yeah.
you have to listen to me. There is more at stake here than you realize. There are a lot more things going on here than you will ever understand. The place we're in, for instance, should give you at least that much information. Help me deal with that, and he points at Marduk again, and we can talk.
I really want to trust DuPont, but I don't.
What's Marduk doing?
He's now looking at you all very suspiciously, and he's looking at you, Rhylind, with probably the most suspicion.
How does DuPont know you?
Again, I think that's my business, isn't it?
I think Charlie desperately wants to say something.
I'm sorry, but I'm going to attack Marduk.
I'm on the same. Yeah, I agree. I reckon attack Marduk because he sounds.
sorry.
I guess the point here is the devil you know. We
Yeah,
know
exactly.
DuPont, we don't know
So I
Marduk.
don't know DuPont, but I've witnessed this guy charge through and murder 6 non-combatants, basically.
I agree.
It's the destruction of everything that I have the problem with as well.
And then go, now kill this guy.
Yeah.
And I don't like him.
I reckon we could take DuPont as well. I'm happy to double down on this. Let's kill both these cunts.
I have again.
You don't have to help us do the DuPont thing. I'm happy to do that
No,
myself.
I don't want DuPont today. I want to hear what he has to say.
I'm happy to listen to him first.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, he's
more
pretty
than
much
happy
said-
to cast Charm Person on DuPont now. I wasn't before. Now it's like, fucking tell me shit.
Everyone roll initiative.
Have a go if you think you're hard enough.
Yeah, come and have a go if you think you're hard enough.
Oh, really?
20.
17.
10.
7.
5.
5. Did you roll for Frosh?
No, sorry, 10.
Okay, so who has the high dex? Abella? Okay. So, we're going to go with Marduk first.
Bastard.
He rolled 23.
But as he's surprised by your sudden but inevitable betrayal, he does not act this turn.
Charlie's turn.
So yeah, like, is Marduk still looking at me? I sort of drop my weight down, and yeah, move 25 feet up to him and throw a few more punches at the side of his head.
Sure.
19.
Hits.
22 hits.
Yep.
And then my flurry of blows, that's a 17. 24. So all 3 of those hits. He takes 22 points of damage. No, do you know what? I'm going to give this a whirl. It's probably not going to work. Give me a strength saving throw.
Okay.
DC 14.
What's the ability?
It's basically when I hit him with a flurry of blows, if he fails a DC 14 strength check,
Okay.
he's pushed 15 feet.
Plus 8, that makes it 12, so he failed that check.
Excellent. So basically what it would be is a punch in the side of, the behind his eye.
Yep.
And then he drops really low.
Give a Liverpool kids.
And gives him, a full uppercut to the bottom of the jaw, which sends him 15 feet back.
Marduk just takes this hit straight into the face. He goes flying backwards between Abella and Rhylind, who will both get attacks of op. As he goes flying backwards, he puts his hand on the ground and starts riffing up parts of the stone. And you can see one of the tiles comes up as he comes to a rest and looks up at you.
He sort of previously, even though he was sort of being big, bad, red dragon man, he's now got not a literal fire, but like a fire behind the eyes. Like he's actually really enjoying the fact that he's fighting someone who can potentially do damage to him.
And again, Charlie's hopping and goes,
Neo,
bring it.
yeah.
Sort of, the Neo, just come on. The Captain
Neo.
Falcon, show me your moves.
He throws a shit-eating grin at you and just goes,
Excellent.
Why do I feel like one of
fists
Tristan's
up.
characters about to die?
Probably. He probably is, but I can't make I have to play my character.
It's very in
morally.
character.
Like,
Yeah.
yes.
Very-
no.
I get it. I'm just like...
And yeah, like Charlie's sort of energized, like bopping on his toes, like smile, like, come on, I'm gonna teach you some manners.
Okay, let's resolve those attacks of op.
16 plus 5? 22.
yeah, that hits.
What's it plus again? Stupid question.
Plus
It'll be
dexterity.
7, so dex plus proficiency.
Oh, cool.
So yours will be a 24.
4.
Does she also get her sneak attack because she's lanked?
Yeah, no, she
So
would.
add 2d6 to that.
2d6.
Mhm.
Oh, shit.
Fuck. There you go.
Thank you.
It's what rogues are good at.
I got a 6 and a 1.
So another 7, 14.
Can we get an update on how he's looking? Because he's taken a lot of damage.
He looks fine.
Oh, no.
In fact, he looks he's really enjoying himself. Like he hasn't been hit by someone worth fighting in a while. Rhylind, your turn.
All right, well, I'm going to take a run and a jump and bring my battle axe down in an overhand, double-handed swing, aiming at his head. Come on, baby.
He's on his knee as well, so it's just like execution style.
Love it. Please don't roll a 1. 19
Okay.
plus 5, yes. So 24.
Rhylind, you charge forward, bringing your battle axe in a swift arc down towards his head. But at the last second, Marduk twists his body slightly and raises the haft of his flail to try and block the assault against his head. He manages to deflect the blade.
You still cut in on his shoulder and he grunts.
They shall know of this betrayal.
To be honest, I'm not sure who I'm betraying.
Roll damage, please.
5 plus string, 8. Because I only ran 10 feet, can I run away?
Yeah, you can, but you'll incur an attack of all.
Okay, yeah, cool. I'm good.
All right,
I'm going to draw my bow and aim it and fire.
go for it. You'll get your sneak attack.
Sweet. So I draw my bow and fire, and then I roll a 2 plus 7 is 9.
Yeah.
No, in your attempt to try and
Just
not
a bit
hit.
excited.
Well, you try not to hit Rhylind as well, so the shot goes wide into a wall.
I'm 10 feet away from him, aren't I?
Yeah.
So like a couple meters. I back away 30 feet.
Yeah.
Hrosh is going to sting him. So I need to roll first.
Roll to hit, and then I roll to see if
a natural 20.
Nice. Okay. Great. So what's the DC?
It is a DC 13 on Constitution.
He rolled a 17.
That would be hilarious if that worked.
5. Nice, Hrosh. Good boy.
So it's now Nezor's turn.
Yeah, I don't have a lot I can do because I have no good spells. I have a dagger I can throw at him, that's about it. I'm going to move about 15 foot back and throw a dagger at him just to see if I can help in any way.
Sure.
I don't need to hold on to a dagger. That's a 12 plus 4 is 16.
Okay, yeah, you throw the dagger and it bounces off his leather armor.
Yeah.
Just hit the wrong angle.
Cool.
Okay.
I did nothing.
Thanks for trying.
Skairn, your turn.
Harpoon the
Actually, can I just yell at Japon? You're welcome to help at any time.
Oh, I will.
I'll believe that when Erhart starts being nice to Bashanos without being threatened.
I'm nice to the Bashano without being threatened.
Thanks, Charlie.
Scans. Yeah, probably going to throw another harpoon.
I was going to say, now's a good time to harpoon some cunts.
Yeah, I'm going to harpoon this cunt. Or at least I'm going to try. This is a disadvantage, guys. Mind you, I can't think of anything else I might use my inspiration on, so I might as well use my inspiration.
Sure. Okay, go ahead.
That is a 17 and a natty 20.
Nice.
Oh, yes!
All right.
Natty 20, so 25 for the harpoon. That's a 6. 8.
Yeah, no, this sticks into his abdomen. He immediately fixes you with a glare and gives you a sort of a, you're next.
I ready the Warhammer. Bring it.
So at this point, DuPont charges past, he charges up to Charlie and just takes a moment and looks and goes, DuPont. And extends a hand.
Charlie Roughhouse. Were you the one that was trying to fix the fight?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I'll deal with you later.
Fair enough.
Dupree, you might not have.
No, he looks at you and goes, fair enough.
Yeah, it was not in any way a threat of violence. Like, it's not, it's like,
No.
I'll deal with this later then. Like,
No, but he's just sort of just run up past you like,
Fair enough.
Fair enough. And then we'll say as he does, he draws both fencing swords. And they're very nice looking weapons.
I was just say Charlie would notice the nice. Like, he would be like,
Oh, man, I see you're a man of
a
culture.
man of class.
They're obviously the ones that are made, so...
Accents like, I had class once.
You're still classy, my lady.
I have a glass.
In a jar. With some bones.
Which is also made of glass.
And Nezor's just like, fuck class, who needs that shit?
Right, so back to the top of the order. So Marduk, first thing he does is he puts his foot on the ground and just sort of starts to right himself. Now, Ryan, I'm assuming that you've stuck the axe in and you're holding it there, trying to push down as hard as you can. He pushes back as hard and then a bit more and is actually starting to stand up and is going to his full height. I'm going to assume you withdraw the weapon at that point and sort
Yeah,
of
I don't want to get lifted up.
stand ready. And he just looks at you and then brings the flail up and starts to spin it. And he brings it around and he brings it right towards your head. So, okay, well, he rolled a 22 versus AC. Does that hit?
But I can use parry to reduce the damage.
Sure.
I
Okay.
don't know how you really parry a flail, but
6 plus dex is, -2, 4.
Okay, so he did 5 damage.
Nothing, not bad
Yeah.
though. That's handy.
I'm going to
Reduction,
say
that's
it
good.
clips your head. However, he keeps spinning that flail. And he's going to do another attack. That one's not as good. What does 15 do versus your AC?
My AC is 18, so that one does not hit.
No worries. So I think you get clocked the first attack and sort of stumble back a little bit and he doesn't move
Compensate,
correct.
so he misses it.
And he's going to do one last attack with that. But it doesn't matter because he rolls a 2, so he does not hit you at all. But he's just sitting there now with this shit-eating grin, spinning this flail as hard as he can around him. And he's going to start advancing towards you.
Traitors get the blade first.
By the way, I'm not actually silver.
Charlie, your turn.
Okay. All right.
You took it well.
I'm afeared for my life.
I'm going to again dash in. So he's now 40 feet away from me.
Right.
So I'll spend 40 feet of movement to move in.
Yeah. Of your 50?
Of my 50.
Yep.
To throw some punches. 21. That's a 1, so that's not going to hit. And then that's a 16 on
It's
my
way better than the 9 that it was before.
Yeah, it's
16 total?
16 plus 7, so 23.
No worries, that hits
Two of
too.
those hits,
Yeah.
one of those being my flurry of blow attack.
Sure.
And this is because he's got his arm sort of raised.
Yeah.
I'm punching him in the soft bits,
Sure.
sort of under his arm to try and get him to drop his weapon.
His file.
8 and 9, so 17 points of damage.
Cool.
And since I used my last, let's make him make a dexterity save.
Sure. Okay, no, he absolutely fails that.
He gets knocked prone.
All right, cool.
So I pop in under his arms.
Yeah.
He can't make opportunity attacks. I shift back 10 feet, and he gets knocked prone. And then I'm going to throw a look over to DuPont, going,
Now's the opportunity.
yeah, again, just sort of bouncing and looking at him.
Yeah, Rhylind, your turn.
I'm gonna hit this motherfucker again. All right, bring my axe back up. Because he's prone, I imagine aiming for his head's gonna be pretty easy, so I do so.
You get advantage on this attack.
Which is good because I just rolled a 5.
Roll higher.
11 plus 5, 16.
You think you've got him, but at the last second, he moves his head out the way almost instinctually, and the thing hits the pavers underneath him.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. So next is Abella.
Cool. So,
Shank the bitch.
yes, I'm going to shank the bitch.
Sure.
So I dash in, taking out my rapier as I do so. And fucking really
You already got advantage.
good.
Yeah.
Because I rolled a 2. Come on, not a 2. 20!
Yes. All right, so what do you do?
Shank the bitch.
Okay. Roll damage.
Yeah. Now watch me get a 1 for damage.
So don't forget.
Oh, that's right. I was going to move back away from him.
Wait a sec. Roll dice. What was it?
No, I didn't get a 1. I did get a 2. And that was a 6.
Okay,
So
so
that's 8 total plus your
2d6.
6 because you're making a
I am.
attack.
So yeah, roll those twice as well.
Angela rolled the 2 6s again.
Sick.
Yeah.
So we're at 13.
See, I missed and hit the floor, and she
She fucking shanks the bitch. That's the idea.
And doesn't get much damage so far. Ah, cool. I got 9 on that one.
So plus 13 is 22.
Right.
That is proper. Fucking.
Yeah. So you, all
You
right.
jackhammer him.
So Abella, you run up and start shanking him.
How does he react to the name Rhylind being shouted really?
He's just in pain.
He's not having a great time at this
No,
point.
he's
You
not.
like that, bitch?
Yeah, bitch.
Yeah. Okay.
Now you're red on the outside too.
Aw.
He already was red on the outside.
I'm all red on the outside. Thank you, Charlie.
It's so that the enemies can't see him bleeding.
Yeah. So no, he is now bleeding profusely from his side, and he looks a lot worse for wear than he was a little while ago. But he growls in pain. It is now Prosh's turn.
Right. Prosh is going to sting the bastard again.
Sure.
One of us. That's an 11.
Okay, so he doesn't hit.
Yeah, there you are. He then retreats away. He's
Sure. Full distance away. 60
Wait, does
foot?
Frost
Not
have
6.
advantage on attack?
Yeah, he does
Oh,
actually.
yeah, yeah.
Thanks, man. That's in 21.
That hits.
20.
That hits. No worries.
Thank you.
So yeah, Frosh wings in and last second pushes his tail forward and goes for the soft parts.
So roll a DC 13 on Constitution.
He rolls a 16 on the dice.
That's another 5 damage.
Okay, great.
Good little boy. He's done 10.
Yeah. Yeah, Nezor, your turn.
Heat the metal.
I can't.
Now the harpoon is in him now.
No, I can't. I physically can't. I don't
have that spell.
spells
How many
anymore.
spell slots do you have?
I have one, level 1.
Yep.
My level 1 spells are Charm Person, Thunder Wave, Silent Image, and Healing Word. Yeah, I'll ready my dodge.
So, Skairn, your turn.
It's hammer time. Getting out my hammer, and I'm going to step in and.
Sure.
So if I'm at advantage, but also a disadvantage, we're back on the same advantage thing.
Yeah, it negates. You just roll normally.
11 plus 15.
No, again, you bring the hammer down. I'm assuming you're aiming for his head, and he again sort
I
of...
was actually going to sort of golf swing into his ribs.
Sure, okay. I'm going to say then, in that case, he sort of does like a little... He hops to a sort of a planking position and lets the hammer swing past him. He only catches the edge of it, which just does not affect him.
Yeah.
However, at this point, DuPont is going to blow past you and drive both...
Fuck, a motherfucker.
What?
He's gonna
the
steal this
motherfucker.
fucking kill.
No, oh, fuck, okay. He rolled an 18. 7, so he does damage to Marduk. Brings out the second one and brings it down on him, trying to sever his neck and crits.
So many crits.
14. So he shanks him with one blade and then pulls it out, and then with the other one attempts to cut Marduk's head off. The blade comes down and hits his neck. However, the scaled armor that Marduk naturally has from being dragonborn prevents the blade from cutting through and getting that death blow he was after. It's now Marduk's turn. Now, Marduk's going to stand up, so who's got attack of opportunity on him?
Yo.
I think I do because I'm right next to him as well.
Sure. All right. I'm going to roll DuPont's first. He rolls too low. He does not get that. Yep.
So 3.
Mm-hmm.
18.
18. That
18.
hits.
Roll your damage.
11.
So,
This is another
yeah.
attempt at decapitation.
Yeah, no, you catch him on the other side, I think. And again, just that neck meat is just too strong. Like, he's naturally very resilient to physical damage. He doesn't look good, though. He's bleeding from his side. He's starting to get welts show up underneath even his, like, sort of draconic appearance. However, he also looks like he's entering into a rage of some kind.
No.
And he reaches up and grabs DuPont by the neck and crits. And
And slips this as he with a bar of soap.
he, grabs DuPont by the neck and spins him around. So everyone who's adjacent, dex save.
I got 17, but plus 5. So
I got natural 20 plus
Yeah.
5, so 25.
Yeah,
so I'm
you
pretty
guys
sure I
are
do like
fine.
a backflip out of the way.
So he grabs DuPont by the neck, swings him around himself with the
I
hand.
feel like I almost punched DuPont as he goes past.
Well, if he was considered an enemy, I guess technically you get an attack of op.
I sort of do.
If you want.
Nah, it's all right.
Okay. No, he spins him and throws him at Rhylind.
I do.
Dex saving throw.
Dex saving throw to not get hit by DuPont.
17 plus 2 dex, so 19.
19, yeah, you avoid. So yeah, I'm going to say you leap out the way.
Jesus.
DuPont's going to get thrown and takes 18 points of damage when he hits the ground and bounces and rolls and
tried to
lands
catch
with
him
his
with
back around the edge of that raised lip and breaks one of those dials.
That's a good throw.
Is he all right?
He seems very hurt. Whether or not he's like alive and able to continue, but he's like, ugh. And
I can't help but love Marduk just a bit.
yeah, so Marduk then takes his flail and tries to crush Skairn with it. And crits.
Fuck off with your crits.
Does 10 points of damage as he brings the flail down on you.
Now roll me a strength save to avoid being forced prone.
That's a natty 20, baby.
Yep, and now he's going to try and flail Abella as
Oh,
a
hell
backswing.
no.
And that's a
You can
22.
stop with the criticals.
Oh, holy fuck.
You can drive him back again. It'd be super cool.
Yeah.
I don't do any of that anymore.
Oh, you're out.
So that's 11 points of damage
And roll me a strength save.
to not be forced prone.
What's that? 8.
You are now prone.
Oh, no.
Again, Marduk grabs Dupree, spins around, throws him like he did before, brings the flail down on Skairn. Skairn buckles under it but doesn't break. And then he, with the same hand, brings it back down on Abella, who just collapses underneath it. And then he sort of turns and sizes you up, Skairn. He doesn't care about Abella. He's just he's moved his regard to you and he goes,
It's rare that one person can wither assault like that. Maybe you will be worth a fight.
I spit blood on the ground and give him a shit-eating grin of my own.
he returns and he's just like, I'm enjoying myself so much. Yeah.
After I saw him throw DuPont and then hit a lady,
Yeah.
Abella, I go, Charlie goes, right.
Now I'm really upset.
Do you know what? I had a second I was like, he did what? Who did he? Oh, right.
And holds his hand sort of like spears, like, so this is lethal damage.
Right.
And he'll run up and because he's got his head turned, where he's taken the slash to the neck and it's opened, he's going to strike him twice.
Nice.
With the points of his fingers into that wound.
Ooh.
20.
Yeah, that hits.
Get his esophagus and just...
And that's a 19.
Okay, yeah, that hits. Roll me damage.
16 points of damage.
Okay. Charlie runs up and starts just wailing on this weak point. And immediately, when you hit that nerve, he just sort of makes an involuntary response and goes, and clasps it with his free hand.
Yeah, so basically, both of those punches, like stabs, to open it up even more.
Yeah.
And then I shift back 25 feet again.
Sure. You're going to attack her and attack a bot, though?
No, I'm not, because I attacked him, and I'm mobile.
Right, okay.
So I move back, and I go, don't ignore the real challenge.
Okay. Next is Rhylind.
Right, suppose I'll take another swing at this motherfucker.
Aim for the neck.
Yeah, so I'm going to swing in with my axe and aim for the weak spot on his neck that
Sure.
Charlie's just had a go at. 10, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Plus 5, 15.
No, it doesn't.
Oh,
You
come
swing
on.
your axe and he sort of lunges back a little bit, just avoiding it.
God damn it, guys. I can't land a blow in this one.
So if I get up, I was actually gonna say, can I just like do a little roll? Just on out of there.
You roll prone away from Marduk 15 foot and have successfully disengaged without being crushed again.
Great.
But he's not even paying attention to you at this point.
I'm almost offended.
Yeah.
Don't be.
Yeah.
Being crushed by him sucks, as you probably are aware.
Yeah, I know. I fucking know.
It hurt.
Yeah.
I've been ignored this entire fight.
Oh, poor you!
I'm Charlie.
He's also
just
being
get
piled
ignored.
on this entire fight.
I can't land a blow in this fucking fight.
Yeah.
Don't worry, you haven't been hit yet.
All right.
Oh, no. You
Tom's shaking his head.
Oh, I did get hit.
I'm trying to figure out what. There's nothing I can do to help right now. Like, if he. Like, I don't know.
Do you have an
cast-
inspiration point?
Well, before you do anything, it's actually Hirosh's turn.
Ooh. Krosh is going to attack him again with his stinger in the open wound on the neck.
Go for it.
That's 16 plus 6, 22.
Yeah, that hits.
DC 13, please.
Oh, he rolled a crit fail. So, yeah.
He's paralyzed, bitches!
Yeah. Actually, you sure it's paralyzed? I thought it was unconscious.
Lose by 5, unconscious.
Right, yeah, so he's too busy looking at Rhylind to notice Frost just land on him and go, "Boop," and he just kind of goes, "Oh," and just his eyes roll the back of his head and he just sort of topples. Actually, I'm going to roll a direction to see which way he topples. He topples forward onto Rhylind. Rhylind,
Fuck's sake.
roll a dex save to avoid being...
Oh, crit fail.
Can I, being standing right there, can I push her out of the way?
I'm not. I'm just wanted to know whether or not you'd move out the way. No. So yeah, Marduk falls on top of you.
Ow!
Yeah. And lets go of the flail and is just immobile on top of you.
This really isn't my thing at all.
And you hear DuPont get up and just groan,
Yeah, I'll move over.
readjust his spine and try and stand up. He goes, "Oh, well, thank you for that."
Yeah, like, I would have moved over and given him a
Oh, no,
hand
he takes your hand. He goes, "Oh, thank you very much. Well, didn't expect to see you all here."
Could someone get me out from under this guy?
I would have been trying to get the guy off Rhylind.
Yeah. No, he walks over to help.
Would have gingerly stood up.
DuPont.
Oh, okay, good.
Can we slit his throat?
Who does? Does Marduk get up to help?
No.
Speaking of Marduk, can we, since
I
last
thought we were just helping him up. As Charlie was going over to do that, I was like, I'll be helping her up immediately.
You roll him, Marduk, off, and he's just like, eyes the back of his head, bleeding, doesn't seem particularly in any kind of shape. And DuPont just looks at you and goes, well, time to take care of this, reaches into his pocket and pulls out a dagger and just goes down to cut his throat.
I'll put my hand on his shoulder. I'm like, before you murder this guy, who does he work
In
for?
my misspent youth, I was something of an archaeologist. During one of my digs, I discovered ruins of an ancient civilization that was not merely left to fade on the pages of history, but rather, it would seem, was erased. This attracted the attentions of an organization that this bastard, and he points to Marduk, works for, that I call the Cult of the Dragon, for obvious reasons. Ever since my first brush with them, I have been searching for answers. And I have discovered their proxies in the highest echelons of power in empires all across the continent, all working towards nefarious and unimaginable ends, yet always resulting in bloodshed, violence, and war at every turn. For all their machinations, however, their ambitions seem to be turned ever inwards. So, to that end, I and some like-minded people I discovered with similar stories decided to break the cycles that they set in motion. We formed a pact, a tontine in fact. Its goal was exploration of new lands beyond the dark tides. Lands where their influence holds no sway and where we can be free.
So we've uncovered the very edges of a couple of things. One would appear to be a plot to arm an uprising in Orim. Anything to do with you?
Yes, I still work for the king. I am still a loyal subject of the king. May his reign last.
The Earhart King.
Of course. But I serve him.
Okay, then.
What about the Cadra?
They're assassins. Why?
They involved?
We've encountered several of them. One of them at your hotel.
He stops and thinks for a moment and goes, I can think of at least 6 people who would like me dead.
The day's not over.
But why rig the fight? Why does that matter?
I had to get a favor from someone, and at the same time I could get the information that you wanted, Skairn, about your sister.
Did you have any idea where Marduk came from?
I've met him one time prior to this, and that was when I was made an offer. Stay out of their way or be destroyed.
Well, that didn't work out for him.
No, and you have my thanks for that. He rubs his back with that, like...
So back to, through the pictures and drawings, were you aware of the mural that was in the library room in this facility?
No, I entered through a cavern that I collapsed behind.
Does a figure with a dragon, and then a figure in flame, a figure in armor fighting what seems to be an army or a group of people mean anything to you for what you've seen?
He sits and sort of thinks for a minute, and he goes, I've seen similar motifs, and as best as I can put this together, there has been some kind of ongoing conflict. I believe in whatever struggle that they were in, they must have ultimately lost, whoever the people are here. And whoever the people are that are destroying these sites, perhaps they're the victors that have just seamlessly begun to pull the strings of our great nations.
Marduk acted like he knew me, or thought he knew me. He called me Silver. Does that mean anything?
Well, apart from the obvious, you're a silver color, but no, I don't know.
Or of the council?
You mentioned council.
Believed she was an agent of the council and assumed we were her compatriot.
If there's a conspiracy, there will be someone pulling the strings.
Could we maybe just kill this guy then now? And
Charlie wants to kill
Charlie,
him.
the words out of my mouth. Yes. Could we deal with the immediate
the
problem?
whole point of the question was just to know whether he was responsible for more atrocities than the ones I witnessed, where he murdered unarmed people that you ran away from.
Oh, yeah, they're all dead, by the way.
But
I suppose that
No.
would be the case.
Not all of them.
One of them's still
I
alive.
knocked one of them unconscious.
so
Okay.
feel
Great.
free to continue, and then we can have this conversation not in a damn cave.
All right. And he reaches down and he cuts Marduk's throat.
And Charlie looks away as goes. When he cuts his throat, and I look away, I remember the potion. So Charlie actually walks over to that potion that was on the
Sure, the vial.
the vial and goes to grab it.
So DuPont just drops the dagger on the ground and then reaches down and finds a part of Marduk's clothing that's not covered in blood and just starts wiping his hands.
Anything that I might want to loot?
You find a musical instrument. It's a very odd-looking thing. It's sort of like a panpipe, like the Peruvian panpipes, except it's two different tubes that connect at one point, and they have
You
different...
could play two different tunes on, perhaps.
It's a melodica.
It's a melodica. Yes, you're correct.
I'm gonna hand it to Nezor. You might want that.
No problem.
Not the best at this, but sure.
So this is a +1 magic instrument. Whenever you cast a bard spell using this instrument, you get a +1 bonus.
I take a scale.
Sure.
It's like I beat someone up. Can I take a tooth?
It's more like kill his skin off.
Can I take knuckle bones and put them in a jar?
I want his weenus.
What of it?
This is like,
Take a nipples.
So,
Were there any scales not to loosen the battle that I could pick up?
sure, there's the whole body of them if you want.
Sure. I pick up a scale.
So DuPont's sort of like, this is not at all how I wanted this to go.
Could we leave? I have to sleep and train for a fight in a few days.
Do you want to down here? Where is further? You are wanting to go, perhaps?
Well, and he looks at the room here and he goes, this seems to be it. I don't know what it is or what it does.
what about that vial? That
It is
Charlie
mine.
picked up?
I appreciate that you want to keep it, but trust me when I tell you it is probably useless to you.
Tell
Should
me
he
what it
drink
is.
I don't know.
Should I drink it?
I would not advise it.
But
What does
why?
it look like?
It is reminiscent of the slime you fought, in that it's a sort of gelatinous substance.
Probably don't drink it then.
But it does appear to have sort of like, you're holding it through glass and you can feel that sort of magical static.
I was about to say, can I arcana it?
Yeah.
Maybe poke it.
No.
That worked out.
Natural one. For fuck's sake.
19.
Okay. Yeah, you're convinced it's a slime scan. And Nezor, this is about 100 times more powerful than any passive magic you've ever come across. It's like a spirit versus a beer.
I thought you meant spirit as in like the
Magic.
ghost, and I was like, what?
No,
Why would a
okay.
spirit?
I mean, like, in terms of it's distilled is, I suppose, the best way to describe
So, but you don't know what it does, so it's going to be of no use to you either.
I have a better understanding of at least this place than perhaps you do. I can put together what its purpose is. I'm not advocating that I hold on to it. I'm just saying it's useless to you. Let someone who has some expertise try and piece it together.
Good idea. And I'll kneel down to Nezor and go, there you go, my magical little friend.
I'll happily take a short rest.
I was gonna say maybe we can rest because I've got some health
Sure.
points I wanted to.
Yeah,
I
all
would
good.
like to rest in my bed. And
I'd like to long rest.
I don't care what's down here.
Fine. Well, if you don't mind, and he wanders over to the device. Well, would anyone here like to help me, or
Sure.
should we just leave? Because since you seem so interested in leaving.
Don't be snarky. It's not becoming of a gentleman. And I'll go over and give him a hand.
So, upon cursory examination of these dials, when you find that when you move them, the stone in the ceiling along these many crisscrossing seams actually moves, and you discover that with the turning of a few of these dials, you're able to reposition the star map that's etched into the ceiling.
I'm not sure whether this
Not
has
at all.
anything to do with it or anything, but I also have navigation and navigation
Yeah,
skill
no, you would. That's fine.
training. So if it's something to do with stars and navigation,
Yeah.
So after a little bit of mucking about with these dials, you realize that if you position the dials correctly, you can move the constellations into a position where if you were to navigate by them, it would give you sort of an idea of where you would be in the world.
Hey, Skairn,
Yeah.
have a look at this.
So I'm examining it as well.
And I sort of just go, just imagine you're the ship.
Yeah, I'm seeing it.
Yeah, so we'll sort of between myself and Skairn sort of try and get our bearings off the stars and go, okay, so this is so where, this is this spot and sort of work out.
What's interesting is at the moment, the position seems to be about 400 miles out at sea.
Mm-hmm.
But if you adjusted the positioning a little bit, you would actually probably position yourself over Aureme.
Yeah.
Like you would see the stars in these positions here. I mean,
so we'll sort of set it to that, and then is there any indicator of like an on button sort of?
So you're rolling it towards where? Aureme?
I
just want to make sure.
Is this might be a weapon?
It's always a possibility. It's an archway or it's a plinth?
It's okay. So it is a massive octagonal pillar that's come in from the ceiling and then tapers down to a point. That point is above where that vial was, which is on a plinth, again, octagonal in shape. It has a depression in it there where the vial sat. And then arrayed around it on this sort of raised sections are these dials on these corners.
Try putting the vial back.
Well, once we got it all set, I'll put the vial back in.
Sure. Okay.
Does that affect
So you're
anything
going
about
to
how it
set the
moves?
thing. Okay. The first wheel that you turn, you immediately feel a rumble from the earth above you as that giant octagonal shape starts to turn.
I feel like this might be like an amplification chamber. Is the room circular?
Yeah, like it's a circular room with a domed roof, and then it goes down into sort of a depressed section, but it's not a full sphere. Yeah.
Sure, cool. So the entire heavens are above us?
Yeah, basically.
Are they the entire heavens as viewed from here?
They are now. The actual pillar in the front lights up with like lines of light that are drawing down from the ceiling to the center point. And it starts to get incredibly bright, and then you hear a dripping sound as, I guess, liquid is the best, or a ooze or a gelatinous sort of substance just drips from this point.
Into the cup?
Oh, it's into the depression. You guys didn't put that in first. Like you can put it in afterwards, which I'm sure Charlie would.
Yeah.
The vial I've got's full, so why not put something that's not?
I'm going to take hand out of the jar.
Sure.
And the glass eye. And put
Do you want to like test what happens when you put the bone in contact with this stuff, just in case it's doing something horrible?
I would have used jerky.
Sure.
Fair, yeah.
Got a little bit of jerky.
Yeah, well, it grows a branch out the end of it.
The jerky?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Like a wooden branch.
Yeah, green wooden. You now have a piece of meat that has like a branch coming out of it
Don't put your hand in it.
with a green leaf
No.
Charlie,
growing, and then it suddenly withers and dies and crumbles to
Charlie-
dust and falls off.
don't drink it.
Tree power, activate!
Yeah, it's like, I was not expecting terraforming to happen here, but...
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Cool.
That's cool. I'm going to get a jar full of that shit. Gingerly.
That's the best weapon ever. It's like, oh, fuck you, you now have a tree for a face.
I got a jar full of stuff that makes branches grow out of jerky.
Cool.
How's
Probably
the
other
jerky
things.
now?
Actually, what will happen if you throw that stuff in water?
Do you want to try?
Have we got any water?
Is there any water around?
You have
I
a
just want to...
big pool of it all the way back.
I just want to
It's not
see...
far away. but,
Yeah.
I definitely want to leave here with a jar full of this.
Yes, absolutely. But I just, for curiosity's sake, you've got living tissue and inanimate objects. I'm assuming because it can go into a jar, it doesn't do anything to inanimate objects. But water is its own special thing that things can happen with.
Sure. I have a flask of water, I would imagine. So we can pour this into a depression or and try tipping some onto it. Right. So we've got a puddle of water, and I'm going to tip some of this onto it.
Okay, how much?
A small amount, I reckon.
A drip to begin with.
All right. Okay. It immediately atomizes and becomes an acidic mist, and you take 5 points of damage as your face starts feeling pockmarked.
Oh.
Yep. Good to know.
What's everyone's passive perception?
13.
9.
And
13.
13.
16.
Okay. You notice a slight tremor in the ground. It's not a regular thing like you might experience in an earthquake. It's like every now and then there's like a tremor.
Yeah, I'm
How much
thinking
more of
we-
this do we want to take? Because if there are people coming to destroy this, as Dupree thinks, this stuff could be very valuable, and we've only got a vial and a jar. That said, I'm not sure what we have that can take more of it.
I'm going to say I don't think I have anything.
I don't have anything.
I could... What would my water flask be made of?
Probably animal skin.
Yeah, I wouldn't risk it.
Some kind of cured leather.
Also, there's water in there. Like, the second you pour it in there, there's going to be residual water that's going to acid in your face.
And maybe,
It was just an idea. I think we've probably actually filled up as much as we can.
So you have a jar of mystery ooze
I do.
and a
and
flask.
Charlie
I
still
think
has
the word was
vial
awesome
of
ooze.
mystery ooze.
I still have my vial, yes.
Yours looks a lot duller.
Because it was in the same place. Do you want to... Hey, I'm going to put another strip of jerky in yours, just to see. Is that all right?
If you'd like.
To see what happens.
Sure. The meat starts to melt and then fizzes and there's an awful smell, but that's it.
I wonder how
Do you
long
want
that
that
takes to
stuff,
happen.
or do you want the new stuff?
I am not fussed. We've got a whole pile of new stuff.
So yours is essentially just acid.
Well, shall we? I'm fairly certain I've got everything I need from here about what this place at least functions as. It's some kind of... And he looks up at the thing and goes, some kind of condenser, I imagine, of, well, clearly magical properties.
So we'll go. Yeah.
Very well.
Well, I'm good to go. I don't know. I can't speak.
Yeah,
for everybody.
I'm ready to go.
I'm still feeling pretty tired, even though I'm back at full health. Let's get some sleep.
Before you leave, DuPont walks over to one of the dials and adjusts it slightly, repositioning the ceiling so that it's no longer over a ream, and the light dulls on this stone and the dripping immediately stops. As you leave the room, you wander up the hallway that you followed through earlier, back to the room with the large tiled map on the floor.
And you find two automatons reefing the floor up and crushing the pieces of stone that they pull up. And they're about halfway through.
Does us walking in do anything to them?
No,
Do
they seem
care?
set on their task.
Do we want to keep these things or just let them chill down here until they get destroyed?
We
I've
can.
got the instrument that is clearly made for this song. I can do something
You
with
are
it.
welcome to.
We all want to block our ears.
Sure.
So we just, hey, Dupree, we can
Turn these off if you
with-
reckon.
But you're probably going to want to block your ears.
All
Trust
right.
me, you want to block your ears.
Very well. And he puts his pinkies in his
Obviously,
ear.
I can block one ear with Mage Hand, but actually, can you cast Mage
I
Hand?
cast Mage Hand, buddy.
Block both my ears,
I
just so.
cast Mage Hand for my mate Nezor.
So block my ears with Mage Hands.
Sure. That's clever.
Yeah. And then play the. So there's a pan flute kind of deal.
Yeah, it's like two flutes
Yeah.
connected together.
Dual flute. Yeah. Play the song as well as I can on
Sure.
this
Roll
new
me a
instrument.
performance check, please.
Absolutely. With +1 because I have the +1.
absolutely.
11 plus 7 plus 1, so 19.
19. Okay, great. No one has to roll any wisdom saves. And
You have wisdom to block our ears.
We learned things.
the tune is a little different, even though like you've got your ears blocked, you can still hear it.
Yeah, I want to know what it's about.
It actually sounds beautiful.
It's made for this instrument.
I'm curious enough to take my hands away from my ears.
It's a beautiful melody, and it's sort of you feel your chest feel like it's full of fire. I guess it's best, not literally like you're on fire,
No,
but
no,
like you're
like
full
inspired.
of vim and inspired by it. Yeah.
Guys, it's actually good.
What? Oh, whoops.
Take
I
it.
took my hands away from my ears, yeah. But it's fine, because the music is great.
No, the music works really well, and you discover that these things sort of stop mid-action, and just sort of stand there and wait.
Cool.
Could we try telling them to deactivate, or could you try telling them?
Yeah, I reckon. Look, if we're going to control them, I don't want to deactivate them. I want to keep them.
Sure.
So I want to say, I want to test it first.
Return to shit.
Or I want to say,
Where are we going to keep them?
like
In their boxes.
There's a whole pile of them upstairs.
yeah. I'm going to basically direct them to stand in front of me. It'll be like, stand here, point to a space about 10 feet away from me.
There's a moment and then they all drop what they're doing and immediately form up as you've directed them to. But then also in the distance you can hear feet, like armoured feet, and the rest of the group come in from all three sides.
That's also what I wanted to know. Oh, there's 2 more tunnels here, actually.
Are they going to...
No, there are 2 more tunnels here that we have not explored.
No, that's true. What do? They form the line
They all
as well?
just form that semicircle.
Cool.
Nice, Nezor. You got yourself an army.
I feel again where are you going to feed them, Nezor? But no, seriously. And who's going to take care of them and pick up after them?
I'll assign one of them to clean up after the other ones.
Well, you've thought of it.
So I just instruct them, follow and protect the group and point to each individual person. So I say to the group, so there's also these other 2 tunnels that they were down here presumably destroying something. Dupree, do you think there was something more down there from your experience? Or?
I can only say that I intended explore this place quite thoroughly, but obviously we had interruptions. So, and he looks over at the very dead 2 corpses of the people who were crushed by Marduk.
What about the unconscious dude?
He's still unconscious and in the corner.
Should we wake him up and help him? I want to ask Dupree.
I don't think this guy likes Dupree, and at the moment we do. So,
I think it would be unfair to leave him here. Up to you, really.
Are you concerned that he would be a liability?
Well, let's put it this way. If he was a liability, he soon won't be.
Will we take him back with us, wake him up and say, don't tell anyone what you saw?
Yeah, cool. If he wakes up and he's a liability, I'm cool with that. So I go to the automaton closest to me, point to him and say, carry.
And he does so.
These things are kind of handy, aren't they?
Screw mage hand.
So do we want to look down these tunnels, or do you want to just...
Well, my answer is yes, of course, as that's why I was here. But
Sure. You're not
I know Charlie does want to leave.
I'm not fussed.
A thought has occurred to me. With these 11 automata, we could probably clear the tunnel I collapsed, if that's something you would like to do.
I think clearing the rubble will be easier.
That's cleaner and easier. The sewers are full of kobolds.
Oh.
We've still
Like Nezor killed a lot, and that one. He's still good, girl.
Gnarl.
Yeah, he's been beaten cold. I actually rolled a dice to see how long he's out.
Okay.
So let's check out the tunnel on the left.
Yeah, let's have a look.
You so you enter into another domed room. However, this one has the floor that's a floor that's quite flat, and what you discover is it seems to be another astronomy room, I guess is the best way to describe it. It does have those same kinds of constellations in the ceiling. However, there was some kind of device here. It's utterly destroyed now. It looks like it's been dismantled, crushed, and then sorted into sizable pieces for removal. So whatever this room's function was, it no longer is apparent to you.
Can I just investigate just to see if there's anything left? I did interrupt the robots before they were finished in here. So that's a 13 plus 2 is 15.
The automaton was in the process of peeling the tiles off the wall.
Okay.
They were pretty thorough.
What's behind the tiles?
Just stone, but it looks like it's got fresh chip marks like you would get from someone who's using a chisel, which are probably those blades that you discovered these things actually have.
Room on the right, anyone?
Yeah.
Why not?
Since we're here.
Yeah. This one's actually it looks like almost like a conference room. It has a large stone table which has huge chunks missing from it. The walls they look like they've been beaten in. It's in a state of disrepair and destruction. There's not much more beyond. This is some kind of official meeting hall.
Table round?
No, long and square.
Any inscriptions on it, if it's stone?
Well, what's interesting is that at intervals there are 4, half an octagon's depth carved into it. So like someone would sit there and move their chair in and they would basically almost be in the table. So, yeah.
Like a cog.
Sort of.
So yeah, nothing else of interest in this room?
No, whatever its purpose was is lost because of the destruction.
How many places would there be at the table?
There are 12 total.
And do we subscribe to the 12 hours in a day system here?
Yes.
Actually, out of curiosity, how good is the timekeeping? Do they have clocks?
More like sort of hourglasses, some clockwork stuff. Closer to the free cities in the mountains, they have very good clockwork stuff, but that's mostly because they deal with the dwarves. But the dwarves don't really care. They have a slightly different concept of the idea of time.
Sure.
Yeah.
I reckon we get out of here.
Let's clear the... Do you want to send them ahead? Send 10 of them ahead other than...
I reckon with the basic instructions, we're not going to be able to send them ahead. We're going to have to get there and tell them to clear it.
Okay, fair enough. Well, let's do that then.
Okay, so you trudge your way out of this section, climb up the chain, and instruct the robots to do much the same. They have a bit of difficulty, actually. They're not super dexterous climbing the chain, but they manage it.
They got down there somehow.
As an automaton can.
They would have dropped.
You make your way up the slope into the camp, and Dupree just goes through and collects a few bits and pieces from here and there. A little bit of food, some personal effects from one or two of the other sacks.
I get the 30 silver pieces that I put back into the sack.
Sure. Dupree turns and goes, well, shall we excavate this hallway, or
I reckon I'll have a look.
find this rope? And he looks at the hole that you made in the ceiling.
So that leads directly to the sewers, if that's interesting to you.
I wasn't aware that they crossed this part.
It's very, very close. In fact, other rooms, it's even closer. There's a lot of this complex. How big do you know? How much do you know of it? Just what we've seen?
As I said, through my different agents, discovered certain information which led me the way I came. But, I mean, obviously there was a large metal door, and he points to the door that's now reefed open. He goes, but no amount of effort would let us push our way in. I mean, obviously with the water coming out, that sort of explains it. But
I just remembered something. So we came across some kobolds who were guarding a part of the sewer that had been punched through, and they'd been told to guard it specifically from anyone coming up by their king or whoever was their leader.
The person who's in charge of them, yeah.
Okay. As you say that, from around the campsite, kobolds emerge. They've all got rudimentary weapons pointed at you. There is about 40 of them. They all just sort of peel around from rocks, and they've got you completely encircled.
I feel really bad because
We've got 11 automatons.
Mow them down.
I said protect and follow. Like if the kobolds try anything, I'm fully willing to talk to them first. But if they attack, they are going to die.
The automatons immediately strike a position, defensive position, and encircle you guys.
And I say to the kobolds, they're under my control. We are bigs. They are bigger bigs. You will lose. Talk to us.
Well, you actually kind of don't have to, because as the automaton shift into place, a really old, gnarled-looking kobold emerges from the staircase that you guys are actually going up.
Give them back, Gnarl.
And
we have automatons. We don't need a Gnarl.
And a really wizened-looking kobold who's wearing quite ostentatious dress. Like, he's got a cloak over his shoulder. He has what looks like some kind of cleric's staff that he's clearly nicked. He's dressed in the sort of the wise kobold leaderly kind of garb, as insofar as it can be done, and he walks with purpose but with a slight limp, and just sort of clacks down that staircase and goes,
Me Quark.
Oh, we heard of you.
Oh.
You trespassing. Huh? What you say?
We're actually leaving now.
You trespassing Quark place.
I mean, we can continue to have this discussion, but like
You guys
my friend
all gonna
Nezor
die.
was saying, those are bigger bigs than us, and he controls them, and I don't want them to kill you all, but if you attack us, they're going to. You're just going to be mowed down.
Quark looks at you for a moment and then goes, and then whistles.
and more kobolds just appear from nearby higher up. And they've all got various different kinds of projectiles, mostly crossbows, some short bows.
So, Quock, what do you suggest?
A lot of your people are going to die today.
We kobold, we always die.
Oh.
Doesn't have to, though.
Me want to know why you big come down kobold tunnel.
Oh, well, it's sort of a convoluted story, really.
There was a bigger big than these bigger bigs. We had to stop him.
A huge, bigger, big.
Mm-hmm. And why you know?
Because we like Null.
We also are curious about this. Yeah, why you Null? Charlie, why do you Null?
Would you like Niall back?
Can we give you him...
I wasn't going to leave him unconscious in a pool of water to drown to death.
Uh-huh. So why you kill our friend, my friend?
They attacked us.
Your friends tried to stab and hurt us.
Then why you come to kobold place?
It's not. It's the Bashanoes. We could tell the Bashano that you live down here.
Bashano, no, we know.
Oh,
All right.
do they?
Yeah, they do.
What? Yeah, they do. They're completely aware of that. Why we trespass? Bigger big.
Bigger
we
big?
come down to kill the bigger big. The bigger big now killed, we leave.
You can have it. You can see him if you like.
He's down there. Now we leave.
He a big problem.
Why this kobold problem?
I'm going to pull out a coin, a silver one, to the shinier one, and go, if I give you this, will you fuck off?
Me like shiny, but me want bigger shiny than that.
And he points at the automatons.
Me want metal men.
There's like hundreds of them in that room, down there with the dead big, to make sure he doesn't get back up.
Were you rolling for a reason?
Yeah, because I'm lying.
Okay.
If we were to give you...
Can we just give him one? And
Yeah, no, that's
deactivate
my
it?
question. Is
13.
if we were to give you...
1 sec. So 13?
Yeah.
Okay. Looks over to one of the kobolds near him and chirps something at him. That kobold scoots off down towards where you indicated. And then Quack just looks at you and folds his arms.
How many kobolds are there? Like 100?
At a glance, probably somewhere between 60 and 80.
Yeah, don't think we can fight that many.
Yeah, 40 might have been doable. How about we give him, I don't know, 3?
Quack. 3 bigger bigs for you.
You give Quack 3 metal men?
Yeah.
He thinks for a moment and then goes,
5.
4.
4.
4.
he thinks for a moment and then goes,
Okay, 4.
Sure. So Skairn will now say to Nezor, tells 4 of them to stay here.
So, well, better than that.
Tell them to follow him. So they will,
They will
just
continuously
walk around everywhere with him.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, follow, and I point to Quack, him.
they march over to Quack, and Quack seems quite chuffed about this and goes,
Okay, you go.
and then just waves his hand. The other kobold that is sent down runs up and goes, and Quack just waves him away. And then with a swish of his cloak, he trundles off away from where the campsite is.
There's nothing stopping you calling them back.
That's true. I reckon it'll be funnier to leave them following.
Yeah, me too. I think that's funny.
Yeah.
Quack's gone a little bit away with these 4 automatons, and he's like touching the metal, like to see if they're hollow or not. And he's getting like a satisfied tung tung. He's like, yeah.
Then I instruct the other 7 to clear the path for us.
Yeah, they go
Take a
ahead
while.
and do so. It's going to take a while.
So in that time, I'm just going to explore the campsite a bit, see if there's anything more worthwhile to get.
There's really nothing here unless you like
No.
spelunking kit.
Didn't
and
think so.
rations.
I'm going to eat some pork.
Yeah, we already took some rations. That's cool.
Yeah. So we get out.
Yeah, after about 4 or 5 hours of solid effort. Now, I'm assuming you let Niall go. Although Quack never said anything about letting Niall go, so...
Yeah, no, my plan was when we left, I was going to put a little shiny in his pocket. And,
Right.
like, basically leave him at the camp where the food was with a shiny in his pocket.
So
I'm going
about
to do right by Niall. He's had a rough day.
I didn't intend to actually keep him. I just wasn't going to leave him in a
We had no idea what you were doing.
Everything was filled with water or shit, and he was unconscious.
Yeah.
It's very gentlemanly of Charlie.
Could have left him lying on the banister.
And then he sort of stirs and falls into the water and dies. It's just he's safer with me.
Look after the poor little guy.
He killed all his friends after all.
Basically, I just sort of put him on the bedroll, tuck him in,
Fair
and
enough.
put a little shiny in his
Anytime
pocket.
you're in combat, I imagine you sort of just threw him to the side. But
He's probably got a few more bruises.
he wakes up about half an hour later, and I imagine it was probably when you were like tending to your own kit, and he sort of woke up and what's going on, and saw the giant person and just sort of did that again, like, no, I'm good, I'm done.
Actually, I give him 2 coppers, so
Sure.
he's got 2 shinies in his pocket.
Are Charlie's pants still purple?
They're still purple. They're not still glowing.
But yeah, no, so it takes a little while longer, and then that pathway's cleared out, and you make your way out, and it's about 9 a.m., 9, 10 a.m.
Anyone want a coffee?
However, like throughout the entire time you were there, those tremors have still been happening.
Should we be worried about that?
Oh God, someone's attacking the fort.
It's probably the bloody huge catapult.
Oh, yeah, remember that Emily?
Yeah.
Her.
She did kind of declare martial law.
Yes.
I have a
Something's
query on
probably-
that one. The people you were arming, they were Erhard, yeah?
No, they were separatists.
Oh, Bashano separatists. That could explain some things. Was there a plan? Was there a timeline?
They just wanted
Arms?
Yeah, essentially.
Do you know anything?
Actually, yeah.
Like
back to
about
that.
this in general?
Not
do you,
particularly.
no,
but-
you don't know anything about the docks being on fire?
Oh, yeah.
Well, not really, no.
It was a memorable day for us.
Well,
They were firemen.
Can I
Yes,
roll to
it
see if I
was.
believe him?
yeah, sure.
I roll very badly.
I rolled a 19 plus insight is another 2. Yeah.
I got 4.
21.
I totally believe
you
you.
suspect he's probably not being completely truthful with this.
That's cool. I don't actually care if he's arming Bashano stuff. I help.
I have no
That's
problem with him arming Bashano separatists. It's the dock fire that I was interested in.
cool. Yeah, I was interested in it. I don't care.
Well, I mean, you could question him on it, but no, you get the impression he's not being entirely truthful about that. But it could also be he's just like, I may not have been directly involved with it, but
A mate of mine definitely did that.
yeah, exactly. Like,
Okay, cool.
But anyway, so as you sort of clamber out through that crypt again, the first thing that hits you is the sound of gunfire. And cannon fire at that. And you can hear from the graveyard that you come out into the sound of Erhard guns just opening up on Areem, and Areem guns opening up on Erhard. And as you come out into the sun and you look across to the fort, you can see that the fort has taken an absolute beating, as has the Erhard's half castle that they've been building. But the interesting thing is that the large catapult atop that octagonal plinth that was inside of the castle is now realigned and is actually facing towards the Erhard side. The Bashano, it looks like it's
There's been
point.
lobbing shit.
Yeah, it looks like it, absolutely. Well, there's not necessarily lobbing shit, but definitely pointing towards them. And you can see military charging around through the streets, through like the graveyard fence towards the other end. However, you have before you a wagon and an 11.
I instruct the automatons to get back in their chests. I instruct them to load, like, are the chests in the wagon or are they on the ground?
They're on the ground.
Okay. I instruct them to put the chests in the wagon and then to get in the chests.
Okay.
One at a time, presumably, otherwise they'd break the...
Yeah.
They do so, and then they clamber up and step into the chests, and they're just standing in the chests.
And then I say, deactivate.
And the armor immediately falls to pieces and lands quite neatly in the chest. A few pieces land outside of them, but yeah.
Close out the chests. Are there
Sure.
horses in the wagon?
They're not there now.
We can deal with that.
May I be the first to say that the shit has really hit us the fan.
I look at Dupree. Like, is Dupree surprised by the fact that there's a war going on right now?
Dupree seems, the best way to describe it is like exasperated, like, oh, I can't believe this is what happened. See what I mean? The moment we discover something like this happens, and he gestures to effectively all the human suffering around him.
Could it the last we saw Emily, she was declaring martial law. That appeared to be in a direct response to the events of the previous evenings that resulted in us following Marduk down here. Could we infer from that, do you think, that she knows of this in one way or the other, or she is instructed to report to someone higher up one way or the other that caused this?
I honestly can't tell you what's caused this. I can only surmise the following. If Amelie opened fire on the Erhardt, it is because the Bashano are making a major power play. If the Erhardt have attacked, much the same. Now, if this was an accidental exchange of arms, we should see a cessation of violence soon. But I honestly can't.
It could be because you smuggled weapons in and armed them, creating... disabling the region.
They wouldn't be fighting each other, though. They would be fighting each other from what he's done.
And I'm going to answer that because I actually somewhat resent that. If I hadn't sold them those arms, someone else would have.
Sure, but you still did.
So?
Just because somebody else might have done it, you still did. It is still your action.
He draws his rapier and puts it, he doesn't, in a violent fashion, he puts it on the ground and he goes, kill. And then looks at you.
Oh, come off it.
I take, one of my knives and go, did you still want to kill him?
As I said earlier.
And then do the same thing,
No, he's basically gesturing at the weapon and saying, kill, as in, the weapon isn't killing people.
Yeah. Apes don't kill people. Apes with guns kill people.
Providing weapons to people who want to kill is still participating
Just
in
because
that.
you think someone else might have done it doesn't absolve you of all personal responsibility.
Oh, look, we can...
No.
There's a war going on. Can we get somewhere safe?
I'm odd that I find myself defending DuPont here, but I don't see how arming Bashano rebels would have started a war with the Erhardt unless the Erhardt were making a power play and were wanting the assistance of the Bashano rebels to do it.
I have no idea about that.
I'm
pretty well connected. So if this is happening, this is not on anyone I know's orders.
So
I think it's this council, as from now I presume we will call them.
I don't think selling a large group of people, a large group of weapons was going to help the situation, but I don't think it's the cause of it.
Yeah, can we go?
Go where?
Well, yeah, that's the next problem, is we can't really go to Amelie's...
She doesn't live in the fortress, but
but I reckon it's not safe right now to be in the general's house when there's a war going
so
on.
remember where I'm from?
Yeah, and he's from.
Do we need to leave the city? Is it possible to leave the
I
city?
need to get my dog and my manager and my possessions.
That's absolutely fine.
I trust her.
Okay,
I trust her. I don't trust the people that are trying to attack her.
DuPont has no obligation to stick with us.
No.
What's your plan?
Well, to be honest, I'm probably going to skedaddle.
Where?
I don't like the idea of hanging around the Bashano side of things.
9.
However, that being said, if you were inclined to stay here, I'd go to the castle. And he points at the massive redoubt and goes, that's probably safer than most places around here. I feel bad for the slums.
I'm not liking either option.
If you're going to leave, can we leave with you?
Would you like us to leave with you?
Well, you're welcome to come along, but it's senseless to split up. I guarantee you, in a war zone, we will not find each other again simply. So let's move as one unit and go and get this gentleman's dog.
Very well. That's at Amelie's house. You know this.
If it comes up, that's fine. It's not that.
You can wait outside. She's probably not there. All right, we'll go to Charlie's house and go to Amelie's house and get Charlie's dog and stuff.
See if Gorgeous George is hanging about.
You make your way through the war-torn streets, and you see Bashano soldiers. This time, they're not in their dress that you'd normally see. They're wearing breastplates that probably can't stop bullets, but are standard kit regardless. And they're all carrying rifles, or muskets rather, and moving in formation to different areas. And occasionally you will have to duck into a side alley to avoid them because they look like they're just they're on a hair trigger, they're ready to go at anyone that's in the streets. But you manage to wind your way through the lower levels of Areem and make your way to Amelie's compound. And when you arrive, it's immediately obvious that this has been changed into some kind of temporary command post. There are palisades out the front. Troops are moving in and out regularly. And in the courtyard, you can actually see Amelie. And she's yelling at another very ostentatious-looking elf who's wearing what you can only assume are the governor's epaulets.
I reckon we let Charlie lead, seeing as he's the reason we're here.
Yeah.
Maybe what we'll do is we'll hang around at the front and Charlie can go in, grab his stuff and come out.
I'll go with Charlie. Might it be an idea if Nezor came with?
That's also a good idea. Oh, look, we're the two famous people. Let us do our thing.
So you walk up to the gates, I guess, hands up, non-threatening. 3 Bashano musketeers effectively run out and place you immediately under arrest and start dragging you into the courtyard.
I walk, and
Okay.
the guy can hang off my arm as I walk if he likes, but it's
Sure.
not dragging me anywhere.
Sure. And as
I'll
you...
go with them. I'm not needing to be dragged.
No worries. And as you enter, Emily just sort of glances over and then looks and completely blanks the governor and immediately storms over to you, Charlie, and you, Nezor, and Skairn, and goes, "Release these men. I need you to send a missive to the Erhard side of the Rhine, and I need you to get them to stop this madness. We had no control over the catapult.
Wait, you didn't fire the catapult?
No, the catapult realigned towards the Erhard, and they started firing on us because we had put our shell down.
The second
This
Matt
is
said
madness. So
octagonal
many
flip.
people are
Put a
dying.
hand on your shoulder and go get Dupree. Like, basically,
Yeah.
Dupree that way.
May I? I'm leaving.
Say,
The moment you say, "Go get Dupree," her face goes like granite. She's like, "Dupree?
he was... apparently this...
Where is that weasel?" And she storms past you.
Emily,
Yeah.
I come with you. We can sort this out.
I think
Dupree can help sort
I
this
think at
out.
this point, it's not so much you're trying to, like, Emily, you're chasing her as you say.
I'm coming with her. I'm just like,
Yeah.
he can help sort this out. You want this sorted? Here's the guy to help you sort it.
She walks out in the street and goes, "Where are you, you rat?" And he appears with, I imagine,
Sounds
Abella.
like she really likes you.
So before she lays into him, like Emily, we are somewhat behind the times. Apparently, the catapult realigned itself of its own accord.
Whoa!
How long ago? And I'm going to say, how long ago would you say this happened?
It's 3 hours.
Do-
I don't know. I've been dealing with this. You bastard! And the moment that Dupont shows up, she actually draws her sword and stabs him in the gut. And then she slaps him.
So I think the point she was wanting to make was, please, can you tell the Erhard to stand down?
Yeah.
Dupree, do you just have friends everywhere?
You're a really lovely, popular guy, aren't you?
Does anyone who meets you not want to punch you?
Or stab you, in fact.
I'm going to not answer those questions.
Can you help de-escalate the situation?
I can, however, I need a bandage.
Yeah. I'm medical. I attempt medical help
Sure,
on
no,
him.
you just bind him up. It's fine. You don't have to roll for it. And I guess, I'm sure we can if we can make it across the bridge without being blown up. Does
Right.
anyone want to try it? Or we could attempt to take a boat across the river and try not to get blown up.
That works.
I'm sorry, but standard doctrine is the moment the Bashano shows signs of being aggressive,
Yeah.
you preemptively strike.
And then is there anybody around who can hear this conversation? Like, are we being observed or listened to?
You are in a group huddle. Emily is sort of like maybe 4 or 5 foot away.
So
just
we
sort
don't
of
want to say
fuming.
anything.
Yeah. And just because it feels a little bit like we might have been partially involved.
And he just sort of stops, moves his eyes, looks and goes, "You think?"
Yeah, so I think it is on us. Otherwise, a lot of people are going to die. And
Which do
you
you think-
seem to actually care about that.
Which do you think is safer, the bridge or a boat?
I can't tell because I don't know what the situation is on the ground. We can ask Emily and maybe work out something there.
All right. I'll ask Emily.
Sure. I don't have a problem with that. And he winces.
Do you want to help me?
I mean, I can. I don't know if I'll be
You're trying to stay on the
anything.
down low with Emily anyway, aren't you, really, more than anything?
Yeah, I've been sort of generally staying out of her way.
So Rhylind and I possibly go and say that?
Not Rhylind.
Yeah, quietly. No.
Sure. Let's go talk. I am Erhard after all, so
Emily, I know you don't like the guy. You're not alone. We need to, if you want us,
cursing under her breath in Bashano.
if you are wanting to us to help and get him to help, we need to get to the Erhard side. Can you help?
But of course, this is my entire concern.
Yeah.
Perhaps what we could do is send, and she turns to you, Skairn, and goes, perhaps with Mr. Roughhouse's assistance, we could get across safely. I do not know if they would accept a flag of truce at this moment, but this needs to be done.
You are shooting at each other?
The governor is insistent that we make a stand here. If the Urhat think that they sense weakness, they will take the rest of our aim. I cannot allow that to happen.
Yeah. So, we need to get across the river and help with the de-escalation of this. What do you suppose is the best way of doing that?
The most direct path is across the bridge. As I said, so long as Mr. Roughhouse comes, I believe we may have a chance. However, there is also, of course, the river. If you go down to the docks, perhaps we could find a small dinghy or some other such thing and get across that way. Either way, you need to find the governor of Urhat.
I am good at doing boats. I feel like the bridge will be very, very heavily manned.
If you recall, the fortress that the Bashno had was on one side, and basically the Urhat were building their own version on the other.
Yeah.
And on the Bashno side, they had cannons trained across there at all times.
Yeah.
So
I'm not liking the bridge myself.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound like a safe bet. Let's do a boat.
I would, again, here's me going against the party, but I would prefer, like Charlie would prefer not to be sneaky.
I'm actually on
sneaking.
Yeah, I agree.
To
Put up a big flag. Charlie.
Because otherwise,
Charlie's
what
gonna
if
fix this.
someone
Charlie's
sees
gonna
us and goes,
fucking-
"Oh, there's a boat full of people sneaking from one side across to the other."
Obviously bad. Shoot them now.
Yeah, I agree. This is
I think if we're using Charlie, being as obvious as possible.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, as you're doing that, Charlie and Nezor, Gorgeous George comes running out of the small house. He goes, "Champ, they threw me out." And he goes, "Oh, I've got your dog." And he's been holding Duchess, and he goes, "Here." And he hands her to you.
Oh, I'll take her and pet her.
Yeah.
And, like, "Are you well?"
I'm fine, champ. We gotta get you out of here. We
was
can't
talking
let
to the
them
dog.
catch you in this place. I don't want you taking a cannibal to the chops. Look, I know it's a scary time, but you gotta trust me. I got your interests at heart.
I'm not scared. I'm worried. We'll have this conversation later on.
Sure, whatever you say. Let me go see if I can get a carriage from these mooks.
Do you want to grab all your gear, or do you want to just...
Well, I don't know the plan, but like right now I'm with Duchess. But if the plan is making me go all the way over to the Urhat side, I'm not carrying a very expensive tea set.
Yeah.
To the Urhat side.
Sure.
I think the moment you join us back in front, we kind of all...
We need to de-escalate the situation,
Obviously.
which means us getting to the other side of the bridge so that DuPont here can talk to...
He's clutching his stomach and just puts a hand up.
I'm visibly happier. So that DuPont here can talk to the Urhat governor and step things down a little bit. But getting across the bridge would be a lot easier with a noble personality.
Oh, yes, no, of course.
Sorry, your sleep will have to wait.
Yeah, he's like pulls out one of the strands in his belt, which has got a clip on it, and clips it onto Duchess's collar. And so
Prepared for everything,
there's a bunch
aren't you?
of twisted rope and stuff, and one of them is her leash. But he'll just sort of like hands Abella the leash.
Oh, thank you.
As you do that, another Bashano soldier runs out holding a folded over piece of purple cloth, and Amelie goes, "Well, if you're going to take the bridge, you're going to need this." And she goes over, grabs it off the soldier, flaps it out, and it's a large Urhat banner. It's the banner you were going to wear over your shoulders when you went out for your title fight. He hands it to you and goes, "Well, I hope this works."
He needs to, before he goes, straighten his mustache and wash all the poop off his head and stuff. We crawl through a fucking...
Yeah, no, I'm not disagreeing.
So,
I'm just like, by the way, I also need to wash the poo off my head.
as in he would just find, a basin or whatnot and wash himself. Just cleans himself up. Clips the flag around himself. Duchess takes her,
We might need a sort of a guard or something that will help us get through the streets of the
Of course, no
side.
problem. And
Yes.
she goes over
Exactly
and
my
yells at a
point.
platoon of soldiers and brings them back. And there's your escort. Anything else I can do for you?
stay safe.
No,
Best of luck to you.
Duncan. Anybody have any problems?
I do, but I don't really see a way out of it.
No worries.
So I'm
So-
not safe on either side right now.
You are safe with us.
That's very kind of you, Mr. Roughhouse.
It's only been a few hours, but the destructive force of the response sent by Urhat can be seen everywhere. Holes in buildings and streets make travel difficult for anyone not on foot. as occasional barrages of bombard artillery smash into buildings, delivering the destructive payload. Fire elves and bucket teams work desperately to stem spot fires that are caught from the damage. The civilians that have not already fled the riverside districts are busy tending to the wounded and mourning their dead. A quiet rage simmers beneath the city. You can feel it in the earth itself. Minutes later, 2 marching columns of Bashano soldiers move with grim pace, escorting their charges to the Great Bridge of Areem through the torn streets of the upper city. Flanked between them, we see Charlie Roughhouse, boxing champion, draped in Erhardt purple. At his sides, Skairn, Hrosh, Nezor, Rhylind and Abella keep brisk pace. Trailing slightly behind them, but no less part of the entourage, walks Dupree Dupont, clasping his wound. Blood drips between his fingers as he watches the party march with that grim determination. And for a moment, he can't help but twitch his mouth upwards into a thoughtful smile at what he sees. A last-ditch effort, but a brave one nonetheless.
Thank you for listening to this episode of There Be Dragons. If you'd like to know more about the show, feel free to check us out at therebedragonscast.com for lore, cast information, and updates on our schedule. You can also find us at therebedragons.podbean.com and on Spotify for your listening needs. If Twitter is more your thing, you can also find us at TBDragonscast. I am Matthew, your Dungeon Master, and Skairn Fellspar Thuferson is played by Joshua Walker. Rhylind Westfall is played by Keren Schlink. Charlie Roughhouse was played by Tristan Doust. Abella DeRosier is played by Angela Donlan. And finally, Nezor Valghoorlis is played by Tom Moore, who also acts as our sound recordist. There Be Dragons' original theme and scores are composed by award-winning composer Sean Tinian. You can see more of his work at seantinianmusic.com. Thanks for listening, everyone. See you next time.